So the next thing to do is to pop outside, set the tent up, spray it with Nick Wax and get it waterproof, and then we'll do another weigh-in, see what it's like and see whether or not I can really hold back the water or whether or not I've broken the tent altogether. Online now, this model you can actually buy the green tent skins, the tent outers, so I could actually just go out and buy a replacement skin potentially, which is good news. When I bought this, you only had white available, or black was about £40 more or something, so I just went with the white one. So we'll see what happens, and if it all goes wrong, you'll see me in the next video with a nice dark green tent instead. So let's see what happens. And okay, we have got it out of the washing machine and hung out in the garage to dry. And here she is, looking a very impressive shade of brown. Actually almost a tree bark shade of brown, which is very good. And look, here's the rest of the tent. So same material really, bag and the inner. I take the bag and compare. You can see a slight difference in shade. Absolutely brilliant, very, very happy. Expect it to lighten a little bit as it dries. It's still dripping wet, but if it stays anywhere near this tone, I'll be very happy. Bit of waterproofing, hopefully spray it with some waterproofer or use some of that wash-in waterproofer. And then it's just a case of putting it up in a rainstorm and seeing what it's like. I think pretty much if I can see water pooling on the top of it and you know, beading on the surface, and I know it's waterproof. But I mean, that's very good, very, very impressed. They said it couldn't be done. Well, there you go. Very happy. It's actually it is a little patchy, but as I say, I'm very happy with that patchiness. Lighter down the bottom, although that's just because it's single skin there, because it's see-through underneath, but this is what it looks like in a tent. Very nice. Look at these angles, look at these shots. I like the mottled effect. Very good. Alright. And the difference, I mean, you can just see it in the dark. I'm going to turn the light off and see if you can see the problem that I was talking about before. So light off, here you go, torch. And as you can see, with the torch shining just at an angle, you can see the whiteness of the old colour tent, but you can't see the new colour. Absolutely perfect result, look at that. I have to have the light shining directly at it to be able to see it. Why anyone would make a white tent, I don't know. I guess some people, they think that tents should be easy to find in the dark. But those people are fools. Very good, very happy. Okay, good, very pleased. Just need to see what it's like when it's dry and whether or not I can keep it waterproof. So the good news is that I have found my tripod, meaning that hopefully we'll have slightly less shaky camera. So let's have a look. I'm just setting up my scales. Now that we've got the tent nice and dry and this delicious shade of chocolatey brown, what we're going to do now is just weigh it, and I want to see has it increased in weight at all. I expect a very marginal increase, but I really don't think it'll be much at all, as it's a dye, not a paint. Okay, so I've zeroed off the scales. I'll just get as much of it in the pan as I can. And we see it now weighs, God knows, ounces. Don't know what that means. Start again. Okay, here we go. Okay, it now weighs 582 grams. So that's an increase in about 10 grams. Now, my first measurement was very rough. This is obviously more accurate and I'm filming it, so I don't know. It's 10 grams at the most. It may even be a smaller increase in weight. So very happy. I mean, that's very, very nominal. Okay, so I'm out in the garden, just going to start making the video. You can see I'm well wrapped up, got my skiing jacket on, and I've got my heated jacket underneath because I've got a cold and got my hat on. So I've got my electronic coat. I'll do a review in another video for this because it's quite good for camping. Right then, so let's get going. Got my tent, gonna set it up, gonna give it a spray and see what we can come up with. By the way, this is the waterproofer I'm using. It's Nick Wax Tenting Gear Solar Proof. You just spray it on, wipe it off, and you've got yourself, hopefully, a nice waterproof tent. So let's see what happens. By the way, you should really clean it first. That's the advice on the bottle, although obviously I put mine through the washing machine out of necessity as part of the dyeing process. So I don't really need to do that step now, as it's cleaner than it will ever be again. So here we go. Gonna put you on a time lapse and set the tent up. Okay, so I've got my tent up, and as we can see, it's definitely brown. I mean, cannot be denied. So next thing is get some water. In fact, no, I'll spray one half, I'll spray the other, and then we'll do a little bit of a test as to see which one gives better waterproofing. Going to use the line here, the guy rope, as a dividing line. I'll spray the left-hand side. I'll keep the right side unsprayed, and then we'll pour some water on both sides and see which works the best. Just spraying the left hand side because that's the direction that the wind's blowing on. I don't want any overspill. So the instructions say to leave it for 2 minutes once sprayed, to protect the work surface, to spray evenly to outside fabric, and to avoid any rucksack straps, and so clearly anything else made of that material. Wait for 2 minutes, remove any surplus with a damp cloth, and check carefully to ensure no areas have been missed. Okay, so I'm just going to have a look at the clock. Give it another minute and a half or so, and then we will wipe it with a damp cloth. So I'm just going to go and grab one, in fact. Oh, one thing I've just noticed is I was kind of just having a laugh and taking the piss in that last video, putting the turmeric into the pot, but it's actually had a surprisingly good effect. And everyone knows if they cook with Indian food or whatever that when you use turmeric you get yellow fingers for a day. And it's actually worked really well to dye the tent. So we can see, I don't know if the camera picks it up, but we've got this really nice yellowy mottled effect, which again is kind of like camo. So this is really going to break up the area. Had I known this, I'd have actually put more in, because it's given that lovely, and obviously I don't have an even dye anyway, but it's given a lovely mottled effect, which will, as I say, just make it a lot more invisible when I'm camping where I shouldn't be. Hopefully you can pick that slightly yellow tinge up. It's only really in that area, unfortunately. In fact, no, that's not true. It's all over the place. It worked really well. I think I added exactly the right amount. I'll add the recipe. There we are. This is the full tent. Okay. Damp cloth. And just wipe it down, and then unfortunately you're going to have to let it dry and hope that the rain doesn't come in. It's a very kind of milky PVA like consistency, a watered down PVA, slight vinegary smell to it. Okay, so this is just really, I suppose, just evening out the cover, getting rid of any drops of the spray, make it nice and even. And I think now I'm just going to have to leave it to dry, which hopefully it won't take too long. It is a bit cold out here, but I have to hope for no rain, otherwise I have to reshoot. But there we are. I think that's it. So I'm going to leave it now, let it dry off, and then I'll come back with the spray test. bollocks! It's raining. Okay, this has completely invalidated the test, so I'll have to wait till it's completely dry again and then retest it on the other side. So, another day to wait. Okay, so the rain's just stopped after, I don't know, half an hour or so, maybe 1 hour. And interestingly, the side that I've sprayed has got a lot of water just sitting on the top, which I suppose is a very good sign. Although, as I say, I'm going to have to come back and spray it because this is a strange test. It's acting very strangely, in fact. Look, we've got this dry areas and wet areas between. As I wipe my finger across, it's really repelling it. It's not changing at all. As we move across the line to the bit I haven't treated, we can see actually the water's beading, so it may actually be that it's fully waterproof anyway, but surprising. Although actually we can see a little bit soaked in as well. I don't know if you can pick that up. Yeah, I may actually have got away with it without even needing to waterproof it. I'll waterproof it anyway since it's up, but I will have to wait just a couple of days to, I'll have to wait until it either dries out later today if it doesn't rain again, or do it again tomorrow. So it's the next day. The weather is a bit better. I'm feeling a lot better actually. Still a bit congested, but not too bad. So hopefully you'll be able to hear me a little better. So just after applying the first bit of Nick Wax, although it didn't get a chance to dry because of the rain, I just thought I'd show you what we've got now. So if I just spin the camera around. So what we can see here is the bit that I have sprayed. Despite the fact that the spray came off before it would have soaked in, you can clearly see that the left side is dry, the right side has got this beading on it. Now, and below the beads, we can see there's a much darker colour. So I think the reason for the beads is because the water's actually soaked into the fabric, whereas here it's completely dry. So it definitely seems to have made a difference even now. So the next coating will be, once this is completely dry, I'm going to give it a wipe down now, let it dry completely, the sun's just hit it, and then we'll do the proper test with pouring the water on both sides, and then we shall see what happens. So I've just shaken off most of the water droplets, and we can clearly see now that the side that hasn't been treated has soaked in a lot of the water. Look how dark this area is compared to this dry side here from the sun. Whereas we come over here, it's all an even light colour. So I think definitely worth spraying with waterproofer. It's definitely changed the way that it reacts. So we'll continue. Okay, so the tent's dry. I'm going to do another quick spray on the left hand side, then we'll wipe it down again, and then we'll let it dry completely. Then I'll do a test to see how waterproof one side is compared to the other, and then once it's dry I'll just spray the whole thing, and we will be done. Okay. Okay, so I've come back next day to do the final test. I'm going to soak it again, and I'm going to then stick some tissue under each side to soak up water and see which one has most water penetration. I've just had a quick squirt before I started filming, and actually I've seen that it's now running off of this side too, so maybe all it is that it takes a little while longer than expected for the waterproofer to really soak into the fabric, if that's what it does. So I'll just show you what I mean. There we are. So again, left side has the new waterproofer, right side has no new waterproofer, and actually we can see both sides are beading up perfectly, and in fact it's run off the newly waterproof side quite a bit better than the other side. We've got smaller beads and less of them here. We've got big beads that haven't run off, so definitely worked. Very, very good. So there we go. The fact that it's actually running off of both sides now tells me that the waterproofing's worked perfectly. So I'm just going to spray the other side now, this last bit, the only bit I haven't waterproofed, and then just get on to weighing. I think there's no need to test the inside now because it's clearly working. Yeah, all good. Very happy. Going to spray it or waterproof the rest of it. Then I'll take it inside. Once it's dry, I'll weigh it again and just double check for whether or not I've added anything to the weight by using the waterproofer. And then it's all finished.